What is up, guys? MACABESPEED coming at you. Great little different flavor for you to take in today, the less lethal stuff. As you've seen on my channel, over the course of the almost 1,000 uploads that we have done in 12 years on YouTube with you guys, I kind of somewhat tend to stay away from the less lethal stuff because in general, when I've shown it to you guys, I only get disappointment out of it. The one thing that was marketed as a less lethal tool that absolutely exceeds the expectations and falls almost into firearm level power levels, in my experience, has been the Defender 2. The Defender 2 is a monster, absolutely killer 100% of the time when it works. But the reliability factor that we've seen on the Defender 2 up to this point leaves something to be desired. Today, courtesy of Mercury Rise, I do have an absolutely new to market offering for you guys to check out in the form of the MUB 50 caliber less lethal pistol. This is also considered a paintball marker and it does utilize 50 caliber paintball, but this specific pistol is also marketed for less lethal defense. I just dropped all my little balls everywhere. Damn. Alright, well, there goes that idea. Super great, YouTuber. Nice, way to go. Alright, where did the rest of them go? Do I get them back? Do I not get them back? Are they gone forever? Seemingly gone forever. Excellent, outstanding. Well, you know what? We have the powder rounds here that I've gone ahead and so errantly spilled all over the floor. These are not spicy air as I would so prefer, but in Governor Gavin Newsom's dictatorship, we cannot have weaponized aerosol spicy air. So I've got these practice rounds instead to kind of show you exactly what I mean about this also being a paintball pistol. Now I've already gone ahead and loaded them up, but this also has the ability to shoot hard, non-breakable projectiles like these plastic balls that came in the kit from Mercury Rise. They look like this, they're just a hard, lightweight plastic, and you get 7 of them. Weird number to get, right? What do you get? Lose one? And you get 7 of each of these offering in the kit. Additionally, in the kit, you're gonna find this back piece right here, and this back piece serves as the quick pierce valve for this system. As you guys may have remembered from the Umarex HDP 50 caliber episodes, that's also where the Umarex HDP 50 is gonna get its power from. A CO2 cartridge in the hand grip here, it's gonna be pierced by this quick pierce system. They go ahead and market it with an Allen key, you tighten it about this tight, give it the bump, you're ready to go. This works on a similar but different setup. Similar in the sense that it has the same basic principles, but different in the sense that it operates just slightly differently. No tools required to go ahead and pop it in. Good to go. And from what it felt like there, chances are I wouldn't need as much effort as I do with the HDP 50 valve. The HDP 50 valve has been known to be stout enough to where you almost sometimes need to whack it on a table or some solid object to get that initial pierce. This feels like it has a shorter throw of motion and a potentially lighter spring, pointing in my mind before I charge it that it might be easier to do so. Now this could all be completely wrong, right? I could be ending up eating crow at the end of this episode, but for me personally, it seems like it's easier to charge than the HDP. Let's go ahead and test that against both of these guys. I haven't put a cartridge in this in a year because I don't really like this gun for a number of reasons, which I'll go over in this episode, but let's see if it holds pressure, huh? Cartridge, piercing thing. No ammunition in this gun right now whatsoever, completely safe. Gave it the bump. Activation, no problem. I don't hear any hiss either, so if I gave this the squeeze, this would definitely alert my neighbors. Don't kid yourself. A CO2 pistol like this with no ammunition, dry firing, it's a stout report. Not like firearm level loud report, but it's definitely enough to piss people off at God's good early morning hours here. Cheers. See how easy or difficult, no, I've never done this before. This is completely the first time I've ever done this. It is to go ahead and charge the MUB. So look and see, yep, the piercing point is actually on this black valve itself. So you'll want to go ahead and round side first, cap side back, just like so. There's no ammunition in this either, 100% safe, 100% inert. I did definitely hear it do something CO2 wise here as far as that extra click, and now I've got a very stout trigger. I'm not gonna pull it just for shits and giggles, right? That's not how gun safety works. You don't pull the trigger to find out if it works. But I definitely do feel like this has a stronger initial trigger spring than it does with no CO2 in it. With no CO2 on it, it almost feels as if it has no trigger spring whatsoever. I think it's going to point to pretty good trigger performance on this as opposed to the heavy trigger of the HDP when we finally get this thing tested in the field. All in all, completely unbiased, having performed the same exact action on both of these pistols just now, I would say that there's absolutely no discernible difference as far as the ability to charge them. The difficulty, or in this case the ease therein as far as getting the CO2 cartridge active in both of these pistols, was equal. I'd say there's no clear victor here. Now, right out of the box, one thing that you're going to see leaves to be desired on the MUB is the fact that the Umarex has these really finely crafted, good-looking fiber optic sights. The MUB is just that standard front post with non-adjustable rear sight, and there's no color differentiation whatsoever. The fiber optics do work on the HDP, and it is a good feature. I've found that these glow fairly well in most conditions, and I thought this was a good design feature on the HDP itself. Moving down the road on the optics options here, we have a rail on the bottom of both of these guys, right? We have the HDP plastic rail here, and we have the slightly longer plastic as well rail on the MUB. Now this is where they really start to differentiate from each other. If I go ahead and put this great Vitatio optic, which incorporates both a flashlight and a laser into one small package, I'm gonna actually be covering the point on this pistol where I load it. So as soon as I go ahead and add an optic to my HDP, I have to go ahead and remove that optic to go ahead and get ammo into the gun. Now for me personally, as someone who really enjoys an easily usable as well as reloadable package, this just seems counterintuitive. And it almost seems like the front rail was an afterthought as opposed to a good design feature like these fiber optics. Even though the MUB has the advantage of being magazine loaded, if you pull this small release right here on the magazine itself, it's going to apparently release all of the ammunition in the magazine. So you gotta be very careful not to go ahead and hit that small catch there. Having said that, this rail on the bottom is 100% functional because of the fact that this is a magazine fed pistol as opposed to just a mag well that you're dropping rounds into. This is actually a huge upgrade. What's the point, right? You don't have to go ahead and remove your optic every single time you reload the pistol, which puts you in the position of not having to re-zero your optics if you have something precision like a laser or even something like a saddle mount hollow sight. When you start to get into those multiple shots, it starts to make sense to have those reflex style optics. Now, because there is the added complexity of a magazine on this specific pistol, you're going to have to go through certain steps to go ahead and remove it from the pistol as well. It will not come out of this gun unless the pistol is on safe. Point blank. If the pistol is not on safe and you push it over to fire and then you hit the mag release, it will catch. Nothing will come out of the front of this mag well here. Pistol put back on safe, mag release hit. Oh, wrong button, that's a safety. Sit on save, good to go. It is spring loaded, so I mean if I don't catch this it'll fly on out of there. Pretty good design, honestly. Although I don't think it's a good idea to lock people out of removing the magazine when the gun is not safe. If you're in a position where you have a couple mags on you and you end up expending all of the ammunition in one magazine, it would be nice to have the ability to not have to go over to safe and keep the gun in the fight, slap a mag in it and get back on the target, right? Rule number one of Grandpa's gun is it's gotta work. I feel like this is one of those things that might prevent you from getting that gotta work type scenario in your defensive usage. It's not something that I would consider to be a deal breaker though. That small foible can be learned, can be worked around, and muscle memory is an incredible thing when it comes to stuff like this. If you train to be able to push this on safe real quick and then remove the magazine, you're gonna get quick at doing it. As far as this optic is concerned on this specific pistol, I do like the Vitattu compactness. I also like the Vitattu versatility with the strobe light, with the standard light, with the strobe laser, with the standard laser, all in one simple package. The one thing I do not like about this optic is this dumb proprietary magnetic only like special charging cable. If you lose this, you're you will not be able to find easily the correct cable on Amazon unless there's some new product out there I'm not aware of at the time of filming. And if you lose this for any reason, your expensive optic is now an expensive paperweight on your desk because you have no way to charge it. So I wish they had gone with something standard like a USB-C. Seems like everything right now is going to USB-C, so it would have been a good move in their development, but you know, who knows? I'm not these guys. I also think the one thing that can't be overlooked about the positivity of having a magazine in this pistol as opposed to just a magwell with a follower is when you have a magwell with a follower like this that's locked back for loading and then you release it after loading the pistol, you have the possibility of breaking paint. Breaking paint is a common term that paintball guys use when the paintball actually explodes in the breech of the marker as opposed to on your intended target, right? If that's a spicy airball, you have just collateral damaged yourself right on out of the fight potentially. I don't know if you guys have ever been around spicy air, but it's not just the target. It's not just like a pinpoint accurate point that's affected. Everything in that area gets a microdose. So if it goes off in your gun, you're probably getting it. Not the best design when it comes to going ahead and trying to defend yourself. If you have to go ahead and fight off an attacker while also trying to fight off the effects of police grade pepper balls, it might not go as well for you. That's really where the magazine fed design is going to absolutely differentiate itself and shine in those defensive situations. From what I remember, and I'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen for you guys as well, this holds 8 shots. This only holds 6 shots. Just 2 final points where I feel like the MUB really shines over its competitor, the HDP. The HDP looks like a toy. Anytime you give someone a defensive tool that has brightly oriented colors like this, it is going to automatically lose all intimidation factor. And if you're in a position where you have to brandish a gun that looks like a toy, you're probably going to have to use it. That was the main issue that I had with the Defender 2 being bright yellow. You pull a bright yellow gun out on somebody, you're gonna have to use that thing. And if you put, you know, 245 caliber slugs from a bright yellow gun on somebody, they're still graveyard dead, same as a 1911 that's all black. I'm telling you. These clown colored guns, you guys think you're eliminating liability, but what you're really doing is forcing people to use them. This is a situation diffuser. I got big hands. Is it a gun? Ain't it a gun? You don't know. If you're on the business end of it, you might not see this piece down here. You might not realize you have a less lethal marker pointed at you. Best gun in a defensive situation is the one I don't have to use. I've literally warded off a home invasion with a rifle before, and I was shouldered up and that fool melted like a candle with no shots fired. So ultimately, diffusing the situation rather than escalating it through a brightly colored toy, even if it's not a toy, is always going to be your best case scenario. Final thing I want to go ahead and bring up to the table is the fact that this is an adjustable power pistol. You're not going to be able to get any adjustment as far as power whatsoever without modifying internal parts on the HDP. The MUB-50, however, is absolutely tunable with the Allen wrenches provided from the factory. They 100% advertise it to be an adjustable pistol. It's not some aftermarket mod you're performing. This is from the factory. Anytime a multinational corporation goes ahead and backs a feature, you can pretty much guarantee yourself it's going to have at least out-of-the-box reliability. And I think that that's what a lot of people are really looking for with these. They may not shoot them every day, but when they do shoot them, they want them to work. Alright gentlemen, well I know I don't do a whole lot of less lethal stuff, but I hope you guys have actually enjoyed scratching the surface of both the HDP comparative to the MUB-50, as well as seeing some of the features that the MUB-50 brings to the table. These are both very capable in the right hands, and I can't say enough good things that I see off the top when it comes to the MUB-50 from Mercury Rise. definitely go ahead and throw it down in the comment section what you would prefer to have on you in those defensive altercation situations. I think this would be a great place to go ahead and end today's video. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. You want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe for more with that notification button so that you can stay current on the channel as well as when these videos come out. If you really like this video, make sure you share it so somebody else can see it. And I'll catch you boys in the next one.